Joining me now is AP's national political editor, Liz Sidoti. Michelle Bernard of the Bernard Center for Women in Politics and Public Policy, Democratic strategist Steve McMahon. All right, I've been torn and twisted about this story, and it is sort of striking how this cycle, more than any, it is nothing but the Gaffe police.
Yeah.
And look, we can talk about the fundamental problems here with Romney in a minute. But this Gaffe issue, there's an entire enterprise built on the Republican side. I mean, you know, the Democratic side, Think Progress, Republican side, you have Breitbart. This is what they do. They look for the moment that they think they got you.
But this is all about changes in the environment, in media and in politics, and the nexus of the two. And it's all about tidbit journalism, right? It's about the little bits that make their way onto, you know, YouTube or on their way onto handhelds. And
it goes viral.
It goes viral, right? And people lose sight of, as you know, First Read was saying today, people lose sight of the other stuff that happened yesterday, which is Romney's big embrace of TARP.
And the way that he hadn't done.
Right, because everyone was so enamored by the Gaffe machine and the Gaffe police. And I think it really actually is detrimental to political journalism in the long run, because instead of focusing on the big stuff, the media, because of the political operatives as well as the changes in the internet, are focused on these.
And it's a vicious cycle.
Right.
Okay, I mean, you know, it's like, look, we can bash us, but I actually think, you know, we're sort of we're not victimless, you know. It's but at the same time, it's the campaign in front of us. Look at what Santorum and Newt did, right? They grabbed onto it and ran.
Yes, but I mean, as discouraging as this might be from a journalist perspective, playing devil's advocate here, I kind of think it's important because it is giving the American public who's outside of the Beltway to really see how people think about these things. How many people, just your average Joe Schmo, are going to be watching television and are thinking about the campaign in one way, and then can look up and say to themselves, well, this is really how they do it. They say one thing when they're running in the primary, and when they swing towards the general, they think something else. I think it's important for the public to see
Steve,
that.
you're the consultant here.
I think it's great.
But what did Eric Fernstrom say that wasn't true?
Actually, I was just going to say, it's the old saying that only in Washington, when you say something that's fundamentally true, is it a gaffe. And basically what he said is there's going to be a reset here that's going to occur naturally. And the reset has nothing to do with resetting positions. It has to do with there's a structural nature of this race that makes it a competitive race. And I think he was referring to that. This is actually, from a practitioner's point of view, a great example of rapid response working well. The DNC heard it. They actually put a spin on it that probably wasn't present, and they made it a very, very effective rapid response. And then, of course, Santorum and Gingrich picked it up, and they all had Etch sketches by the end of the day.
And what's the lesson that I drew? And we've been, and Mark Murray and I were remarking about this. We remark on it constantly. You know, with Obama, with Bush, with Clinton, there was a cocoon of protection when they got attacked.
Yes.
There was a group of supporters that would they'd light up your email, light up the phones, light up whatever, the tweets.
The truth squad.
Romney doesn't have this.
No, I mean, it's one more thing that just goes.
And we don't have a base.
Well, and it speaks to his fundamental problem within the party, is he isn't beloved by the base. He doesn't have, you know, people coming out of the work to defend him. Is it not John Kerry in 2004, right? I mean, it's the same kind of. It's the same kind of.
Oh, come on! Let's. Do we have to do this? We really have to do this.
He's wooden in nature. You don't see the enthusiasm that you saw for Obama or Hillary Clinton or even John McCain last cycle, and it'll be very interesting to see.
And they
what
weren't
happens.
nimble. By the way, they weren't nimble about this. Like, how do you not? You realize that, you know, I'm getting emails from them. Oh, this is absurd. Well, then call out the absurdity and have fun with it.
They haven't been nimble.
They were not. I mean, the candidate Romney looked. He just looked like, I don't know how to respond to this. Rather than just, I mean, bring out a magic 8-ball and say, you know, who knows? Have some fun. They don't know how to do that.
Here's what I think Mitt Romney is thinking about in his head, which actually probably makes him perform worse. This is sort of, there's an aggregating effect of all this, because it's a gaffe after a gaffe after a gaffe in this campaign, and every time he does it, he knows it's a little bit worse, and he knows it makes him look a little bit more ridiculous to people who are paying attention. Fortunately for him, most people aren't really paying attention to this election yet, like they will be in the general election. He does have a little bit of time to recover. But my God, all this stuff is on tape, and it's all going to be in campaign ads. And by the end, I predict he's going to look ridiculous.
Well, if he's the nominee, he's going to look really bad when he's up against Obama. But right now, if you look at all the other people he's running against, he really doesn't have that much to worry about.
This is his version of a victory lap. He said, look, I'm going to throw you, I'm going to do another gaffe and still show that I'll beat you.
Exactly. I've still got more delegates.
All right.